Hi everyone, again welcome to JDM Tax Consulting with Dominic Michel. Again, I want to go over the actual Form 990 easy line by line to as a form of guidance and help you streamline the process for you while you are filing your Form 990 easy. But before that, let's go through some important aspect of that form. As explained before, the form is the instruction for Form 990 easy is about 45 pages. So there's insufficient time to just sit and go over every segment of the form or every page. But what the most important aspect of that instruction I'd like to go over is what new, as we have already did a video regarding the schedules that are related to Form 990 Easy. So basically, what new? There were some changes to Schedule B reporting of donor information. A tax-exempt organizations other than a Section 501c3 organization, including a Section 4947 A1 non-exempt charitable trust or Section 527 political organization, is no longer required to report the name and address of its contributors on Schedule B. Remember, originally the forms on Form Schedule B, nonprofit organization section under Section 51c3 and Section 4947 non-exempt organization charitable trust, or Section 527 political organization, they were required to report the name and address of organizations and individuals that donate funds or financial assets to them on Schedule B. These organizations no longer required to report the names and address of these contributors on Schedule B, Form 990, 990 Easy, or 990 PF private foundations. Schedule of contributors attached to its Form 990 or Form 990 Easy for tax year ending on or after December 31, 2018. Per se, for anything after that, for 2019. So see Revenue Procedure 2018-38, 2018-31 IRB 280, available on at IRS at irs.gov/IRB/2018-31 IRB number sign RP-2018-38 for more information about this revised disclosure requirement. Now, the form has Form 990 Easy as its purpose, which you have to listen to the other videos. But however, these are some of the most important purpose of the form to file the form. So Form 990 Easy or return of organization exempt from 990 Easy is a return of organization exempt from income tax, and Form 990 Easy are used by tax-exempt organization, non-exempt charitable trusts that are not treated as private foundation. Private foundation are filed on Form 990 PF, and then also not related to Section 527 political organization to provide the IRS with information required by Section 6033. An organization complete Form 990 Easy or 990 in a Section 501c3 organization Form 990T exempt organization business income tax return generally are available for public inspections, are required by Section 6104 Schedule B, Form 990, 990 Easy, or 990 PF. So we don't want to go over all that information, but there are other purpose of information, there are other purpose of the form 990 Easy and 990, including the following. So Form 990 Easy can be filed by organization with gross receipt of less than $200,000 and total asset of less than 500 at the end of their tax year, whether it be a fiscal year which started on January 1st and then ended on December 31st, or um, I'm sorry, calendar year from January 1st through December 31st, or fiscal year anytime during the year and end the following year. So if your organization's gross receipt for the year is less than $200,000 and the total asset is less than 500 at the end of the tax year of your tax year, whether it be fiscal or calendar year, you have to file Form 990 easy. Sponsoring organization of donor advised funds are defined in section 4966D1. Organization that operate a hospital facility organization recognized by the IRS section 501C29. Nonprofit health insurance issuers and certain controlling organizations defined in section 512B13 must file Form 990, not 990EZ, rather than Form 990EZ, regardless of the amount, their gross receipt and total asset. Okay, so see the instruction for line 44 and line 45, and general instruction A, who must file before completing this form. Okay, so basically that's the general purpose of the form. And then general instructions, and then we'll have do not include your social security. So let's go directly to the form, and we already went over who must file and so forth. Okay, all right, let's go over directly to the form. So basically, Form 990EZ is a short form. It's a short file form, just like you have the 1040EZ for individual tax return taxpayers. If your return is not too complicated, you file a 1040EZ. But if you have other certain like deductions you have to take, certain credits you have to claim, you have to file Form 1040. So, however, there are requirements and schedules that are applicable, which we have already. There is another video that covers the schedule, such as Schedule A, B, C, E, G, L, N, Schedule O, and so forth. Okay, so basically, Form 990 is a return of organization exempt from income tax under Section 501C. Or the Section 51C, Section 527, or 4947A1 of the Internal Revenue Code, except private foundation that filed Form 990PF. The most important things that you must remember with this form: do not enter your social security number on this form, as it is made public. So private organization donors that want to donate funds or financial support your organization, they may have access to this form. So it is not recommended for you to enter your social security number on that form. Okay, so you can go to the IRS website if you need to download a copy of the form, and here is the information here: www.irs.gov/form 990EZ for instruction and the latest information. Now, this form particularly is for 2018. Of course, you will have 2019 as well, and it is open to public inspections when the form is designed and everything. Okay, and but if you are fiscal year, if you are calendar year taxpayer, you don't have to. Basically, you have to indicate your year here: December 31 through December. January 31 through December 30. January 1st through December 31. But if you're fiscal year, you have to. So this is for the calendar year 2018. Or if you are fiscal year taxpayer, you have to enter your year here. For example, if your fiscal year start on October 1st and then ended on September 31st, then you would enter here you would enter October 1st, okay, 2018, and then ended on September uh, September 31st. Okay, on September 30th, 20, and then you'll put the applicable year, which would be in that case 2019, because you are fiscal year. Fiscal year means that your tax year ended other than December 31, anytime during the year, and it start other than January 1st and ended anytime during the following year. Okay, and then now on that's section A. Section B, you have to indicate whether you have an address change or name change. If this is an initial return, per se, this is your first return, or if this is a final return, or your organization is terminated, basically, or if you are amending your previous return, you'll click here to amend the return. If your application is in process for exemption and it has not been finalized, this you will indicate application pending. Okay, and then you will enter your organization name here. Or say, let's say it's Harvest Revival Church Inc. Okay. So you have to enter exactly the way the name, the legal name of your organizations with the Department of, just as it is with Department of State, and just as you have indicated on your exemption application, to ensure that when your form is being processed, there is no delay, in that they are able to locate your information in the IRS system. And section D, you would enter the employer identification number, which usually start with, two numbers, dash, and so forth. You enter all the other necessary information, numbers right here. And then, okay, so let's say that this is your initial returns, okay? And then you would enter your address or PO box, your number and street address and PO box. If there's a suite, if you're operating and there's a suite or something, and then you'll indicate your phone number here. Okay, and city, town, zip code in that section. So that section C, you have to make sure that that information here is accurate as much as possible to prevent delay. Any information that's not accurate according to the information record you have with the Internal Revenue Service will delay the processing of your form, of your organization's applications. Group exempt number. Now, if your organization is part of a group exempt, then you'll put the number here. Okay, so, all right. Now, G, section G of the form. On section G, you would indicate whether you are a cash basis taxpayer or accrual basis. Okay, when income is recognized, or any other basis you would put here if it is not cash or accrual basis. But I believe that most exempt organization, they receive cash donations and stuff like that. So it is cash basis also forth. But unless you don't recognize income, you only recognize it when it is actually basically cash basis is when you actually receive if you actually receive recognized income when you actually receive it, then it's cash basis. Okay, and then accrual basis, per se, you make a sale, but you have not you have a claim to the income, but you have not received it. But that is accrual basis. Section 8, and then also if you have a website, you will indicate your website. Sometimes that website can give relevant information to the processing agent. Tax exempt status, you would indicate whether you are 501c 501c3 or any other 501c, 501c4, whatever, or and so forth. And then if you are exempt, if your exemption status is 4947, you're gonna enter here. 527, you'll click this. In that case, you click 501c3, and then also you'll check for section H if the organization is not required to attach Schedule B, Form 990 or 990 Easy or 990 PF. You will check here if this is not required. Okay, so easy form. Okay. Section K, form of organization. What type of organization? Corporation? Are you a corporation? If you are incorporated, are you a trust, or are you an association? Any other type of organization apart from a corporation, trust, or association will be entered here, and then you will indicate the type of organization. Now, before you complete section L, you would have to complete basically section 5B, 6C, 7B to line 9 to determine, so that you can determine the gross receipt. Because if the gross receipt are 200,000 or more, or if the total asset from part 2, you also have to complete part 2 as well, column B, are $500,000 or more, you must file Form 990 as opposed to Form 990 EZ. So it's very important, before you put any information here, any amount here, you have to make sure you file these lines here, and then also file this section here before you enter any information on Form 990. I'm sorry, on this section L here. Part one of the form is where you enter your revenue, expenses, and change in net asset or fund balance. Okay, so you would check if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any question in this part 1. You will click here. If the organization used Schedule O to respond to any form in this section here. All right. So line 1 would be your total contribution, gift, grants, and similar amount received. Let's say you receive 200 cents. Okay, if your gross receipts are $200,000 or more, or if the total asset are $500,000 or more, you must file Form 990. So therefore, you put 100. If you're $190,000 to make it meet that area here, and so forth. Okay, so not exactly, but because it's a total of numbers, a total of amount, and so forth, so you wouldn't enter that amount, the total amount here, but because this amount will be added to other amount and on the form. Okay, and then line 2, program service revenue, including government fees and contract. You will enter here members, dues, and assessment, like for a church, like contribution that your members contributed to the church, like tithes and so forth. You would enter investment income if the organizations have investment income. If you have investment in stocks, bonds, and so forth, you will enter the amount here. Gross amount from sale of asset other than inventory, like if you sell assets, you will enter these amounts here. You'll enter the amount you sold the assets for here. Cost of other business and sale expense. So basically, the cost of other business and sale expense would be on an accounting perspective would be let's say that your business, you sell the asset for $50,000, but your cost to sell the asset was $10,000, and or you have other business and or sell expense in the amount of $20,000. Let's say if you put it here, if you put $10,000 here, and then you put let's say other expenses are 5,000. So your total here for on line C would be whether you have a gross, whether you have a gain or loss from sale of the asset, which will be a subtraction of line B from line A. Okay, so and then your total, if it was 5,000, your total here would be a gain, which would be a $5,000. And then line G would be gaming and fundraising events. We explained on that from the previous video. So any money that you raise in gaming or fundraising activities would be entered here. For example, on line 6A, gross income from gaming, you will attach Schedule G, which is related to gaming or the fundraising activity greater than $15,000. Any amount greater than $15,000, you will enter here. Okay, gross income from fundraising event not included of contribution from fundraising events reported on line 1. If any funds that you receive, gross income from fundraising that are not reported on line 1, you would enter here, not including contribution from fundraising event reported on line 1. Attach Schedule G to show the amount, basically, if the sum of such gross income and contribution exceed $15,000. Okay. Then also there are expense related. There may be expense related to your gaming or fundraising activity, and then in that case you are you are able to take to reduce the amount of fundraising from reduce that by the expenses related to that, and then in that case you will either have a net loss or a net income from that activity. Gross sale of inventory less return and allowance. So basically, gross sale, if you have an inventory, if you keep inventory items that you must keep in inventory for, and then less cost of goods sold, what it costs you to sell these items, and then you will have the gross profit. This is from or gross profit or loss from sales of inventory. In that case, you will subtract 7B from 7A to get your gross profit or loss from sale of inventory. Other revenue subscribing on Schedule O. Schedule O is designed to report other revenues that are not related to any of these activities, and that whatever the total from that schedule, other revenues would be here on line 8. And then line 9 would be your total revenue for the year. That included, you would add line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5C, line D, 6D, line 7C, and 8. So basically, any lines that is a negative will be subtracted from the total revenue. Will be subtracted to arrive at the total revenue. So, and then you go to line 10 is grants and similar amount paid, listed on Schedule O. Basically, if as an organizations you pay grants and other amounts to other organizations, you will have here benefit paid to or for members, benefits like to employees or for members will be entered here. These are your expenses, basically. Salaries or the compensation and employee benefits, professional fees and other like accounting, professional fees like legal, other payment to independent contractors would be on line 13. Occupancy, rent, utilities, and maintenance. Occupancy would be part maybe mortgage, if you have a mortgage on your building that you occupy for the organizations that you operate for the organization. So occupancy, rent, if you rent the space, utilities, maintenance for upkeep of your premises would be on line 14. Printing, publication, postage, and shipping. These are your supply expenses and so forth. Other expenses described on Schedule O will be entered on line 16, and then line 17, will be a total of line 10 through line 16 will be a total expenses. Excess or deficit for the year, subtract, basically you will subtract line 17, which is your total expense from line 9, your total revenue, to come up either to indicate whether it will indicate whether you have excess revenue or deficit, let's say deficit for the year. Okay, and then line 9, net asset or fund balance at the beginning of the year from line 27. Basically, you have to line 27 have to be completed for this to be line 27 on column A must agree with end of year figure reported on prior year returns. Okay, so from line 27 on column A from previous year. And line 20, these are your net asset basically for this section from line 18 through line 21. Line 20 is other changes and net asset of fund balance explained on schedule O. So schedule O have to be completed prior for you to fill out this line. Net asset for fund balances at the end of the year, combine line 18 through line 20 to indicate net asset of fund balance at the end of the year. All right, so part 2 of form 990 easy. This is your balance sheet basically. The balance sheet, you must see instruction for part 2. You must go to the instruction on part 2, which is here. You'll go to the instruction and go to part 2 of the instruction. H K G. This is part 1, revenue expense. Part 1 covered on the expenses. So if you need information how to fill out this section, you have to go to the instruction for part 1, revenue, expenses, and changes in net asset or fund balance. And then part 2 would be for your so all the informations are here for you. And then line 13, line 14, part 2 balance sheets, and so forth. Okay, so let's go back. So the balance sheet, you'll see that instruction for part 2 on the instruction. Check if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any questions in this part, and then you'll click here if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any information here. So you'll click here. And then cash, savings, and investment, indicate the beginning of year. That's your balance sheet basically. You'll indicate the beginning of year, beginning January if you are calendar year, on January 1st, 2019, or 2018, since this is the 2018 return. Cash, savings, and investment on your balance sheet as of beginning of year. And then end of year, as of December 31st, what was the end of year cash, saving, investment, and investment. Land and building, the value of your land and building, and then here as well the value of your land and building, beginning of year, ending of year. If your fiscal year would be, if your fiscal year, you will indicate the beginning of your year, whether it was October 1st, and then end of year, whichever the end of year. Other asset described on Schedule O, same thing here. Total asset, your total asset from your balance sheet again. Total liability described on Schedule O will be here. Net asset on fund balance, line 27 of column B must agree with line 21 according based on your balance sheet. Part 3, statement of program, service, and accomplishment. See instruction for part 3. So you go to instruction part 3 to fill out this section. check if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any questions in this part. Okay, and then so you will check this check mark here if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any information here as far as concerned what is the organization primary exempt purpose and expenses required for section 501c3 and 501c4, organization optional for others. So the expenses are required for section for organizations that are under 501c3 and 501c4, but it is optional for other organizations. You must describe the organization program service accomplishment for each of the three largest program services as measured by expenses in clear and concise manner. Describe the services, provide the number of persons benefited, and other relevant information for each program services. If you have a food pantry, is this program is the most is one of the largest program, then you would describe the program here. If your organization is supporting the charitable cause of your organization, then if it is one of the largest program service you have as measured by expenses, then you would indicate that. Okay, on line 28, and then grants, you will indicate the amount of grant, and this amount include foreign grants. If the amount include foreign grant, you will click here. Like per se, if you receive grant from another country apart from the US, you will you will indicate it here, and the total amount will be here. And then same thing for if you receive from, if it is related to each program, largest, the first largest, the second largest, and the third largest program. And other program service described on Schedule O, total grant from those other services. And if the amount, any amount from foreign grants, we'll check here and the total amount for that. And then the total program service expenses will be here. Remember, these expenses are required for section 501c3 and for 501c4 organization. It is optional for other organizations, but for transparency, other organization may choose to enter that information there. Part 4 is list of officers, directors, trustees, and key employees. Basically, you list each one, even if not compensated, even if the officers, directors, trustees, and key employees are not compensated for their contributions to the organization, for the whatever connect them with the organization, you still have to list them here for transparency. Again, that is good for the organization when the organization is very transparent to their accounting of for account for what is going on with funds they receive from donors. See instruction part 4 see the instruction on part 4, and then check if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any questions on this part. Okay, so the organization will check this if any information here in this part is supported by Schedule O. Basically, you'll enter the name of the and title of the employee. Let's say that Dominique Michel, director, right? Director, and then it's director. Okay, so and then average hours per week, how many hours I contributed per week. Let's say I contributed 25 hours per week. Reported compensation, if it is a W-2, basically if I am a regular employee, I receive W-2, or if I am a contractor or an independent contractor, or the organization don't control my time there, then I will be on a 1099 miscellaneous. If not paid, and you would still need to enter 0 if the organization is not paid. You still need to enter 0 here. If the individual officer, director, trustee, or employee is not paid. health benefits contribution to employee benefit plan, and deferred compensation. How much contributed to the employee officers or directors, trustee benefits plan or deferred compensation. Estimated amount of other compensation. What other compensation that the officer or employee receive from the organization. And you will enter this here for each involved parties. Okay, so now go to section 5. Section 5 is other information. Note the Schedule A and personal benefit contract statement requirement and the instruction for Part 5. Check if the organization used Schedule O to respond to any. Again, same thing. You have to continuously, simultaneously review your form Schedule O to ensure that if you need to check this box here. And then line 33, did the organization engage in any significant activity not previously reported to the IRS? If yes, provide a detailed description of each activity on Schedule O. You will say either yes or you would say no. If yes, then you need to provide detailed instruction of that activity on Schedule O. Where any significant changes made to the organization governing document. If yes, then you will also need to provide explanation on Schedule O, and you will check yes. But if no, then you will check no. Remember, Schedule O, if you have the information there, you need to check yes. If you check no, then it's not accurate. The information you have, your return is not accurate. You have to make the corrections, and then you might end up doing an amended return to make the necessary correction. And then 35A, did the organization have unrelated business gross income of $1,000 or more during the year from business activities such as those reported on line 2, 6A and 7A, among others? If yes, then you say yes. If no, then no. And then in that case, and then yes, okay. If no, provide an explanation on Schedule O in that case. Okay, remember those. Yes, you need to provide explanation. If no, you don't need to provide an explanation. But on that one, if yes to line 35, A, has the organization filed a form 990T for the year? If no, provide an explanation on Schedule O. Was the organization a Section 501c4, 501c5, or 501c6 organization subject to Section 6033E, notice, reporting, and proxy tax requirement during the year? If yes, complete Schedule C, Part 3. If yes, you will complete Schedule C, Part 3. Again, remember the schedule that I went over from the previous video. And then, did the organization undergo a liquidation, dissolution, or termination, or significant disposition of net asset during the year? If yes, complete applicable parts of Schedule N. Now, it says applicable parts, meaning that you don't have to complete everything on Schedule N, only those parts that are applicable to that, to liquidation, dissolution, terminations, or significant disposition of net asset. Significant disposition of net asset would be like some substantial amount of asset involved during the year. If yes, but you must be transparent. According to this, says unrelated business gross income of $1,000 or more. In that case, if the asset disposed is $1,000 or more, if the value is $1,000 or more, I think it would be transparent to disclose that information during the year. If yes, complete applicable parts of Schedule N. If it is dissolution, you go to the dissolution section. Liquidation, go to liquidation section. Termination, if the organization is terminated, it is no longer will continue business in the current year because you are currently filing the previous year. Then in that case, you would go to the termination section and so forth. Enter the amount, 37A, enter the amount of political expenditure, direct or indirect, as described in the instruction on line 37A. B, 37B, did the organization file Form 1120 POL for this year. Okay, you will enter this information here. Yes, then in that case, and then or no. 38A, did the organization borrow from or make any loan to any officer, which we explained to you on, I believe it was, yes, Schedule L. Okay, if the organization borrow money from an officer, director, trustee, or employee, key employee, or an officer, director, trustee, or a key employee loan funds from the organization. In that case, you would check yes, you must complete Schedule L, Part 2, and enter the total amount involved. In that case, you will enter, or you will, if you have loan to multiple officers, directors, trustee, and key employees, you will total that amount and enter it here, which must be provided on Schedule L, and the Schedule L will give you the total amount. Section 501c7, organization, enter here 39A, initiation fees and capital contribution included on line 9. Capital contribution would be that officers, the owner of the organization, contribute capital to the organization. Let's say that you run out of money, the organization run out of money, and you want to keep the organization running, you contribute your own money. This is called capital contributions, or how you raise money from other sources as capital. Gross receipt, and B, gross receipt included on line 9 for public use of clubs facilities would enter on line 39B. 40, section 51, and so forth. And then section 501c3, organization like a church, enter the amount of tax imposed on the organization during the year. If you are imposed any taxes, 501c3 organizations, under section 4911, enter the amount here. Under section 4912, enter the amount here. Section 4955, enter the amount here. And so forth. And you can see all these. So basically, you have to go through every single line of these forms and enter the necessary informations and ensure that each information you enter, if it is required for you to review Schedule O, make sure that you review Schedule O to ensure that the information you are entering is corresponding with Schedule O. Okay, and Part 6, Section 501c3, organization only. All section, this part is only completed by 501c3, organization only. All section 501c3 organization was answer question 47 through 49b and 52, and complete tables of line 50 and 51. Check if the organization used Schedule O to respond. If you use Schedule O to respond to any questions in part 6, you have to check to indicate Schedule O was used. Okay. Did the organization engage in lobbying activity or have Section 501H election in effect during the tax year? Yes. If yes, complete Schedule C. Again, you have to go to complete Schedule C, Part 2. So, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It tells you what schedule to complete for that line and what part of that schedule you must complete. And that information, you would say yes. If not, you will say no. And then is the organization a school as described in section 170B1A 11 II. Okay, if yes, complete Schedule E. Yes or no. Okay, and then did the organization make any transfer to an exempt, non-charitable related organization? Exempt but non-charitable related organization. Some organizations are exempt, but they are not charitable organizations. They have other cause other than charitable activities. So you will say yes or no, depending on what you did. If yes, was the related organization a Section 527 organization? Yes or no. Complete this table for the organization 5 highest compensated employees. So you will check your book, your payroll information, your payroll accounting system to ensure to see, because you have to complete this table for 5 highest compensated employees other than officers, directors, trustees. If those employees are not officers, directors, trustees, and key employee who each receive more than $100,000 of compensation from the organization. If they receive more than $100,000 of compensation from the organization, and if there is none, enter none. You have to enter none. You have to enter none. Enter the name and title of each employee, name and title. Name and title. Let's say accountant. Because I'm accountant. And then average hours per week, let's say required 20 hours per week to do the accounting of the organization. Reportable compensation, let's say the company it says more than $100,000. So if you are the accountant, I don't think the organization is going to pay you $100,000. But just for the purpose of this presentation of this video, let's say that it's $105,000. Okay, and then health benefit, whether they pay me health benefit contribution to me, okay, whether they pay me health benefits or make contribution to me to my benefits plan, or there is deferred compensation where they may pay me compensation, but the compensation is deferred. I have not received it, or something like that. So estimate amount of other compensation. Any other compensation must be entered here, and that is done for each employee. So total number of other employee paid. So now if the total number, here you can enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees. And then if you have more than 5 employees that are compensated more than $100,000, then you would enter the number here. Let's say you have 3 more employees. Okay, and then complete this table for the organization. 5 highest compensated independent contractors, people that are on 1099. People that are on 1099 who each receive more than $100,000 of compensation from the organization. Same thing here. Okay, and then total, and then 50 to line 52, did the organization complete Schedule A? Note all Section 501c3 organization must attach a completed Schedule A. So most, okay, says that did the organization complete Schedule A? All Section 501c3, if you are a Section 501c3 organization, you definitely must attach a completed Schedule A. And in that case, you must say yes here. On the penalty of perjury, that is where you would certify that the information that you enter on this form are accurate to the best of your knowledge. So you would declare on the penalty of perjury, I declare that I have examined this return, including accompanying schedules and statements, and to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is true, correct, and complete. Declaration of preparer other than officers based on all information of which preparer has any knowledge. So the person who completed the returns must enter that information, must fill out this section, name of preparer, let's say Dominic Michelle, okay, date of preparation, let's say July, you have the date of preparation here, and then your printed preparer. No, basically this is for the officer. Officer name will be here, date, type name and title, and then preparer would be here. So both the officer and the preparer must certify this form, and signature of preparer, date, and the preparer must indicate if self-employed, in this case, and the PTIN, paid tax preparer tax identification number. Prepared tax identification number is a number that the IRS give to all tax return preparers that verify them, that connect them with the system. Basically, when you go when the return is reviewed, this is this number. You must have that number in order for you to prepare returns. And in the firm name, let's say JDM Financial Consulting LLC. And then EIN, the EIN of the corporation firm would be here. Firm address would be here, and number would be here, 904-366-7548. Good. And then may the IRS discuss this return with the preparer. Now, the officer may indicate, okay, it's okay for the IRS to, it's always a good thing to allow the IRS to discuss the return with the preparer, because the preparer is the one who prepared the return and is able to discuss the information with the IRS. If the IRS has any questions regarding the information, the preparer may also have the information in file to discuss that. So you will say yes. Otherwise, if you don't want the preparer to be involved in discussing the information, if you feel comfortable enough to discuss the information, you can say no. In that case, if information needed or clarification is needed, the IRS will reach out to you. So that completed the review on form, how to complete form 990 EZ. So next video, we will go over form 990. I hope this information was vital. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.